2 Samuel chapter 19, reading from Yah's scriptures. And it was reported to Joab, "See, the sovereign is weeping and mourning for Absalom." So the deliverance that day was turned into mourning for all the people. For the people heard on that day, saying, "The sovereign has been grieved for his son." And the people stole back into the city that day, as people who are ashamed steal away when they flee in battle. And the king covered his face, and the king cried out with a loud voice, "Oh, my son Absalom! Oh, Absalom, my son, my son!" And Joab came into the house to the king and said, "Today you have put to shame all your servants who today have saved your life, and the lives of your sons and daughters, and the lives of your wives, and the lives of your concubines, by loving those who hate you, and by hating those who love you. For you have made it clear today that you have neither commanders nor servants. For today I know that if Absalom has lived and all of us had died, then it would be right in your eyes. Now arise, go out and speak to the heart of your servants, for I swear by the Most High, if you do not go out, not one passes the night with you, and that is worse for you than all of the evil that has come upon you from your youth until now." So the king rose up and sat in the gate, and they told all the people, saying, "Look at the king. He's sitting in the gate." And all of the people came before the king. As for Yasharel, they had fled, each one to his tent. And it came to be that all the people were contending throughout the tribes of Yasharel, saying, "The king delivered us from the hand of the enemies. He rescued us from the hand of the Pelishtites, and now he has fled from the land because of Absalom. And Absalom, whom we anointed over us, has died in battle. Now why are you silent about bringing back the king?" The king David sent to Zadok and Abiathar the Kohanim, the priest, saying, "Speak to the elders of Yehuda," which is Judah, saying, "Why are you the last to bring the king back to his house, since the words of Yasharel have come to the king to his house? You are my brothers, you're my bone and my flesh. Why then are you the last to bring back the king? And say to Amasa, are you not my bone and my flesh? Elohim, do so to me and more also, if you are not commander of the army before me all the days, in the place of Joab." Thus he swayed the hearts of all the men of Judah as one man, so that they sent to the king, "Return, you and all your servants." So the king returned and came to the garden. And Judah came to Gilgal to go meet with the king, to bring the king over the garden. And Shimei, son of Gera, a Benjamite, who was from Bahurim, hastened and came down with the men of Judah to meet King David. And with him were 1,000 men of Benjamin, and Seba, and the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons, and his 20 servants with him. They rushed over the garden before the king, and they passed over the ford to bring over the king's household, and to do what was good in his eyes. And Shimei, son of Gera, fell down before the sovereign when he had passed over the garden, and said to the king, "Do not let my master reckon wickedness to me. Neither remember what wickedness your servant did on me that day my master and the king left Jerusalem. The king should take it to heart. For I, your servant, know that I have sinned, and see, I have come today, first at the house of Joseph, to go down and meet my master the king." But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, answered and said, "Should Shimei not be put to death for this, because he cursed the anointed of the Most High?" And David said, "What have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah, that you are to be adversaries to me today? Should any man be put to death in Yisrael today? For do I not know that I am king over Yisrael today?" So the king said to Shimei, "You do not die." And the king swore to him. And Mephibosheth, son of Shaul, came down to meet the king. He had not attended to his feet, nor trimmed his mustache, nor washed his garments, from the day the king went away until the day he came back in peace. And it came to be, when he had come to Jerusalem to meet the king, that the sovereign said to him, "Why did you not go with me, Mephibosheth?" And he answered, "My master, O king, my servant deceived me. Your servant said, I am saddling a donkey for myself to ride on it and go to the king, because your servant is lame. And he spoke slander against your servant to my master, the king. But my master, the king, is a messenger of Elohim. Therefore, do what is good in your eyes. For all of my father's house were but dead men before my master. Yet you put your servant among those who eat at your own table. Therefore, what right have I still to cry out any more to the king?" Then the king said, "Why do you speak any more of your matters? I have said you and Siba share the land." And Mephibosheth said to the king, "Rather let him take all, since my master the king has come back in peace to his own house." And Barzillai the Gileadite came down from Rogelim and passed over the garden with the king to send him on the way to the garden, over the garden. And Barzillai had a very aged man, 80 years old. He was a very aged man, 80 years old, and he had sustained the king while he was dwelling in Mahanaim, for he was a very rich man. And the king said to Barzillai, "Pass over with me, and I shall provide for you with me in Jerusalem." But Barzillai said to the king, "How many are the days of my life that I should go up with the king to Jerusalem? I am now 80 years old. Do I discern between good and evil? Does your servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Do I still hear the voice of singing men and women? Why then should your servant be a further burden to my master the king? Your servant would only pass over the garden and the king for a short distance. Why should the king repay me with such a reward? Please let your servant turn back again to die in my own city, near the burying place of my mother and father. Here's your servant Kinham. Let him pass over with my master, and do what is good in your eyes." And the king answered, "Kinham is passing over with me, and let me do for him what's good in your eyes. Now whatever you choose of me, I'll do for you." Then all the people went over the garden, and when the king had passed over, the king kissed Barzillai and blessed him, and he returned to his own place. And the king passed over to Gilgal, and Kinham passed over with him. All of the people of Judah brought the sovereign over, and also half of the people of Yasharel. And see, all the men of Yasharel were coming to the king, and they said to him, "Why have our brothers, the men of Judah, stolen you away, brought the king and his household, and all of David's men with him over the garden?" And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, "Because the king is our relative. Why are you displeased over this? Have we at all eaten at the king's cost, or has he given us any gift?" And the men of Yasharel answered the men of Judah and said, "We have 10 parts in the kingdom, and in David too. We have more than you. Why then did you despise us? Was it not our advice first to bring back our king?" But the words of the men of Judah were harsher than the words of the men of Israel.